talking about the importance of a final walkthrough and what that means in a real estate transaction. So let's get after it right now. My name is Diana Filkins. I'm a realtor surveying Missoula and the Bitterroot in western Montana. Today I am taking a drive. I am in Polson right now, which is about an hour north of Missoula, and I am driving south towards Missoula, so we'll be there in about an hour, but I won't keep you for an hour, don't worry about that. Because today I just wanted to talk about the importance of a final walkthrough and what does that mean, what are we doing, why do you need it, stuff like that. So let's jump right in. So once you go under contract on a home, about 24 to 48 hours before you sign your life away, just kidding, before you sign the closing paperwork, you're going to want to do a final walkthrough. Now, it doesn't matter if you've been to the house a few times since you put an offer in on it. It is super duper important to do a final walkthrough with your realtor, and it should be on your realtor to get it scheduled 1 to 2 days before signing the paperwork. And during this walkthrough, you are taking all decision makers with you, okay? All decision makers are going to the house at your scheduled time, and the sellers are not there. And it is your opportunity and your realtor's opportunity to make sure that the home is in the exact same condition as it was on the day that you put the offer in. Now, what are you doing? So you walk through the home and you look for the obvious things. Were any walls damaged when the sellers were moving their crap out? Was any paint chipping because they had picture frames or this and that hanging on the wall? Was anything damaged? That's what you're looking for. You're gonna flush all the toilets and listen. Do they run for a long time? Do they run for a normal amount of time? Does the tank fill up? What kind of ring is around the toilet bowl? It's important. You're gonna turn on all the water in the house, all the sinks, all the kitchen sink, the bathroom sinks, the laundry sink, if it has one, utility sink, if there's a utility sink in the garage. You're gonna turn all of them on. You're gonna put your finger under, or your hand, I suppose, and you're going to feel for cold water. Then you're gonna turn it on to hot. Does hot water come on? You're gonna ring the doorbell. Does the doorbell ring? You're going to turn the dishwasher on and put a cycle. Actually, like while you're going, you are going to turn the microwave on. You're going to do a cycle of the washer and dryer if it's included in your contract. Now make sure that it's included in your contract. So one thing that I do for my clients, and I want to take a quick pause right here because we are on tribal land right now. This is the Salish Kootenai area, and so the tribe has their own rules. They have their own government. They have their own police. So this is tribal land out here, and they operate differently than the rest. Now, I have had some clients buy on tribal land, and it went smoothly overall, except when we went to find out how deep the well is. Well, let's just say that the tribe doesn't do a fabulous job at staying organized and keeping records. So there was absolutely no record of the well even being put in. So it's like a surprise. How deep your well is, or how much water comes out of your well, or if you have a cistern. Like, who knows if you have a cistern, because there's no record of it. It's like the lottery. It could be a good one, it could be a bad one. Same thing with the septic. You have no idea where the septic is. It's kind of like a guess, which you can guess from there's like a septic head or lid, usually green. You can probably guess where the drain field is. Is it mapped out perfectly? No, because the tribe is, not so great at keeping records. And we did have it was a pretty big family moving into a house, and we needed to know if the septic could hang with the amount of people that were moving into the house. So it did cost a little extra. I want to say $400 or $500 to get like a full-blown septic inspection that included not just like a snake down the pipe or like a camera down the pipe, but they did an inspection on the whole damn thing, like how deep it is, how big it is, how much it can hold, how many bedrooms is it good for, because interestingly enough, septics go by the number of bedrooms, not by the number of bathrooms or occupants, or how many max occupants, if that makes sense. So it's the number of bedrooms. So good times. So if you're wanting to buy on tribal land, or just happen to really like a house that's on tribal land, just keep those things in mind, that you might have to spend a little extra money figuring out the information that you need to know about your new home. And then don't get in trouble with the law, because the tribe has their own police and they do their own thing. And I'm not too familiar on the different tribes, nor am I super familiar on all their rules. So that's definitely something to investigate if a home that you like is on tribal land. So that's that. That's my spiel on tribal land. Now let's get back to final walkthroughs. So you're making sure everything is turned on. Like if it has a mini split, turn it on, hot and cold. If it has a window AC unit, hot and cold. Oh yeah, that's something else that I wanted to mention. It's on your realtor to provide you with what you're looking for. So that's something I do for my buyer clients, is I will do a full printout of, this is what you typically look for in a final walkthrough. So we do that. And then I print out the section of the contract that shows what conveys. So that is something we've already negotiated with the seller. And I try and include as much as possible. Like the little things that you don't really think of. Like firewood, for example. So we have left Polson and we are driving into Ronan. R-O-N-A-N, Ronan. Still north of Missoula, on our way to Missoula. So like our curtains or curtain rods included. I usually like to include firewood. That way at least you have firewood for the first winter, or at least half a winter. It gives you a little head start. And it's usually a pain in the rear end to have sellers move firewood, so I really like to include that. And then like miscellaneous things. Like there was one where they had like they had a hot tub. Make sure you write the hot tub in, because that actually happened on my personal house, where I didn't double, triple check that the hot tub was included in the sale of the house. And when we moved in, hot tub was gone. And I wasn't too happy about that. And then I went back to look at the contract, and sure enough, it wasn't there. So if you like go look at a house and you're like, ooh, I like that, or oh, I want that piece of furniture, write it into have your realtor write it into the contract, and then print it out. Your realtor should be doing this, not you. Print out the section of the contract. Doesn't have to be every single page, because it can get pretty lengthy, but there's a section section of the contract, I want to say it's on page 3, I think. It's just like a little paragraph of all the things that are included in the sale. So that's what you're looking for. Like, where's the wood? Okay, wood. Okay, check. Or is the hot tub here? Okay, super duper. And then another thing that your realtor should print out and bring with them is like where on the home inspection notice where you negotiated things. So maybe you negotiated that the sellers were to fix one of the water pipes before closing. You want to check that water pipe works. You want to turn on all the showers, see how the shower flows. You want to turn on all heating sources, all cooling sources. You want to just check everything. Check all the lights, check all the fans. I mean, it may seem ridiculous, but if you divide it up and conquer, you could get it done within an hour, you know? But like go over the items that you negotiated in the home inspection notice. Were they supposed to put in a railing? Check to see if the railing is there. It's the little things that matter, because if something comes up, or let's say like a gutter is like completely down and it's not supposed to be like that, and it was damaged in, I don't know, last week's storm. Well, it's on the sellers to fix that before you sign the paperwork. So you don't close until it gets fixed. Now, you can also decide like, oh, I guess that's not that big of a deal. I can fix that in 5 minutes, or it'll cost me $10 to fix. I can do it myself. But that's a risk that you take. And if you want to take that risk, super duper. But just know that then that's on you. So a final walkthrough is a must, a necessity, and do not skip it. And if you are not like in Montana during your final walkthrough, then make sure that your agent does it for you while you're on a video call with them. But it must be done. Like I talked in my last video about purchasing a house here in Western Montana, but you don't actually come here until maybe 3 weeks after closing. And that's fine. You better believe my little tush is at the house 1 to 2 days before you are supposed to close, before you sign the paperwork saying that the house is yours. And I will be checking all of the things. I know what to look for, but then I also have my handy dandy checklist, and then I also have the other necessary paperwork to remind me. I don't want to like, oh, was that part of the contract? I don't want any of that. And as a former teacher, it just brings me joy to have it stapled, beautiful, highlighted, marked with notes. Like that brings my heart joy. And I think it's really important to stay organized like that, because it makes your time faster. Like nobody wants to waste their time. Like, and then that would be a good opportunity to measure things or to look at something again. Another popular thing that comes up in a final walkthrough is have the sellers cleaned up their dog poop before they've moved out. Now, if there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 turds, I mean, let it go. But if the backyard, front yard, side yard, whatever, if it is covered in turds, that's something that your realtor can then write it up, and it must be done. It must be cleaned up before closing. And you need proof of that with pictures, with if they hire a company to do it, whatever it may be. And it's harder now in the winter because there's snow covering the turds. But you should have to dodge these bombs as you're doing your final walkthrough. Completely unacceptable. And the home should be not like I wish or the freezer can't be full of crumbs and like all the nastiness, or things spilled in the refrigerator. Like, no, it needs to be cleaned, but that is so darn vague that it's actually quite frustrating, because my idea of clean could be somebody else's a different idea, you know? So in that case, it's kind of frustrating, but if something is like obviously disgusting, then it needs to be called out. So all in all, a walkthrough is essential in buying real estate. And if you're not in town, your realtor should be doing it for you. And if you work with me, you better believe I'll be doing it. I will, because my job is to protect you and for you to get the best product possible. And I want you to get what you were promised. And what you were promised is in the contract. And I will read it and reread it and reread it and highlight it and mark it like the ex-teacher that I am, you know? So it's a must. Don't skip it. I don't care. No excuses. Don't skip it. Okay? All right, that's my spiel for today. I am driving from Polson. We drove through Ronan, and we are almost in Arlene. So I'll be making my drive back to Missoula. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, likes, you know, leave them down below. And then, of course, if you're thinking about moving in or out of Missoula, the Bitterroot, or even like up in the Polson area, that's kind of like my max of where I go, or my level of expertise is from Polson down to Missoula, which is in the Bitterroot. That's kind of like my territory, if you will. Anything outside of that, I would be happy to connect you with a realtor that will give you the same or better service than me. And I'm going to connect you to somebody who's going to take care of you. I think I give pretty amazing service. Always can improve, of course. But I'm going to connect you to somebody who's on par. And who will force you, or they will do a final walkthrough. Like, no excuses. Yeah. And if you need anything, reach out, call, text,